Imagine you are on a luxury cruise, sipping a drink, when suddenly you tumble over the railing and plummet into the freezing ocean below. The shock of the cold water steals your breath as you surface, gasping. Panic flares as you watch the massive ship, a city of lights, drift away with impossible speed. Your movie-trained instincts scream at you to swim, to chase it down. You kick your legs and pull with your arms, fighting the waves with every ounce of your strength. But the ship only gets smaller. This is the deadly swim for the boat myth. The reality is that cruise ships move far faster than any human can swim. All you are doing is burning precious energy and accelerating the loss of your core body temperature. The cold seeps into your bones, your muscles cramp, and your frantic strokes become weaker. Your stamina is plummeting towards zero. The correct action is the opposite of your instinct. Float. Conserve your energy. Pull your knees to your chest to preserve heat, and make yourself a visible target for rescue. Just as your hope begins to fade, a spotlight cuts through the darkness. A rescue helicopter. You're pulled from the icy water into the warmth of the cabin, a wave of relief washing over you. But your ordeal isn't over. A sudden, violent shudder rips through the aircraft. The triumphant roar of the engine turns into a high-pitched scream as you spiral towards the dark forest below. You and another survivor emerge from the mangled steel, miraculously alive but stranded. The night is cold, and the immediate priority is clear: shelter. You both decide to build a massive log cabin, something you saw on a survival show. You spend hours hacking at trees, attempting to notch logs, pouring sweat despite the chill. But in a real survival situation, you aren't a well-fed TV host with a full toolkit. As dusk settles, you are utterly exhausted, your calorie reserves are depleted, and your grand cabin is nothing more than a few logs leaned against each other. You are exposed, freezing, and have wasted the most critical hours of survival. This is the elaborate shelter myth. You don't need a house. You need immediate body heat regulation. The rule of threes dictates you can only survive about 3 hours in extreme conditions without shelter. The right move was to immediately build a simple, effective lean-to or debris hut, something small enough for your body heat to warm and to get a fire going. A fire would provide warmth, dry your clothes, and act as a powerful signal to any potential rescuers. After a shivering night, you wake up to a gnawing hunger. The new mission is food. You and your companion begin foraging, eating anything that seems plausible. Unfamiliar red berries, the inner bark of a tree, a few crunchy beetles. This is the survival food myth. The desperate search for small snacks is often a net negative on your energy budget. The calories you burn searching, digging, and preparing these meager foods often outweigh the calories they provide. Worse, you are playing Russian roulette with your life. Without expert knowledge, you can't distinguish a harmless berry from a deadly one. A single mistake could lead to violent illness or paralysis. The truth is, you can survive weeks without food. Your body has reserves. Wasting your limited energy chasing low-calorie, high-risk snacks is a critical error. Your priorities should remain unchanged: warmth, and now finding a reliable source of water. Days crawl by. Your energy is gone. Your companion turns to you, their voice raspy. "I'm not thirsty, so I'm not dehydrated." This is perhaps the most dangerous lie you can tell yourself in the wild. You argue, but they refuse to drink the little water you've collected. You've been taught that thirst is your body's indicator for when to drink, but that's a deadly falsehood. Thirst is a late-stage signal of dehydration. By the time you feel it, your cognitive and physical functions are already impaired. The real early signs are much more subtle: dark-colored urine, growing fatigue, a persistent headache, and increasing irritability. As you try to reason with your friend, their eyes roll back and they collapse. They didn't feel thirsty, but their body was already shutting down. With your friend unconscious and your own vision blurring, you realize dehydration is killing you faster than starvation, and finding a substantial water source is now your only hope. Your desperate search leads you to a flock of birds overhead, which you recall is a sure sign of nearby water. You and your friend, exhausted, follow them for what feels like miles, your hope dwindling with every step until you arrive at the destination, a dry, empty field. This is the first dangerous myth. While some water birds stay close to their source, many species fly for miles to forage or roost. Following them is a gamble of precious energy, a bet you just lost. With no other choice, you push onward, the landscape changing into a harsh, sun-baked desert. Your salvation appears in the form of a cactus. You've seen it in movies. You cut it open, and your friend eagerly drinks the fluid inside, only to immediately retch and vomit. That's because most cactus fluid isn't water. It's a toxic alkali slime. It induces vomiting and diarrhea, dehydrating you far faster than thirst ever could. Only a few specific types, like the barrel cactus, are safe, and making a mistake is a gamble you can't afford. In the ensuing chaos and weakness, your friend stumbles, falling hard. You hear a sickening sound. A large, sharp spike has impaled his leg. Your immediate instinct is to pull it out, to relieve the pain and remove the foreign object. Stop. This is perhaps the most fatal instinct you could follow. That object is acting as a plug, staunching what would otherwise be a catastrophic bleed. Pulling it out would release the pressure, causing a massive hemorrhage and tearing more tissue on the way out. The correct procedure isn't removal, it's stabilization. You must pack cloth or bandages tightly around the spike, creating a donut shape that holds it perfectly still, preventing any movement that could cause more internal damage. Only then can you seek professional help. The stress, the heat, the dehydration. It culminates in a sudden nosebleed for your friend. He immediately tilts his head back, a piece of advice passed down for generations. This is another critical error. Tilting the head back doesn't stop the bleeding. It just redirects it. The blood flows down the throat, where it can either enter the stomach, causing nausea and vomiting, or worse, enter the lungs, leading to choking. The proper way is to lean slightly forward, allowing the blood to drain out, and pinch the soft part of the nose for at least 10 minutes to allow a clot to form. Miraculously, you stumble upon a river. Relief washes over you. Following it downstream should lead to civilization. But your hope turns to dread as the river empties not into a town, but onto a freezing cold, desolate ocean coast. Across the waves, you spot an island, a potential sanctuary. You both decide to swim for it. This final myth is the fastest killer of all. Cold water doesn't just cause slow onset hypothermia. The moment you hit that water, your body goes into cold shock response. An involuntary gasp for air that can make you inhale water and drown instantly. Even if you survive that, you face cold incapacitation. Within minutes, your nerves and muscles will stop responding, rendering you unable to swim. The 1-10-1 rule is a grim reminder. You have 1 minute to get your breathing under control, 10 minutes of meaningful movement before your limbs become useless, and 1 hour before you lose consciousness. Just as your last strength fades, a light cuts through the fog, a rescue boat. As you sit wrapped in blankets on the rescue boat, you vow to never rely on movie myths again. Because in the wild, the truth is the only thing that keeps you alive.